Okay, quit thinking, quit worrying, quit analyzing, tell the world what it can do to itself. Live life to the fullest, for we only have today. Kick back and enjoy.
Sobriety Essays number 55, Finding a Meaning While on Travel. This is funny. I was going to write an essay on finding meanings while on travel, like RVing around the country or being on a cruise ship and finding a meaning off the cruise ship. Of course, they have meanings on board. What is funny, I have discovered that I had already written an essay, number 16, about finding an AA meaning. The difference was supposed to be that this was finding a meaning while on travel. They were almost identical. So I wrote this essay when I was going on 37 years of sobriety, and now I have over 39 years, 7 months. So I am going to share with you some of the unique AA meanings while on travel. Let's start with Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. There is an English-speaking meeting 5 days a week at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Two things that are unusual about the Cabo San Lucas meeting. First, there is no street name and not even an address number for the meeting. Going online, you can find the meeting is listed as over the Ace Hardware store and across the street from McDonald's. That's the address. Now you get off the ship, you find a rickshaw driver, this is a bicycle with a basket seating, 2 in the back. Give him the statement where to go, and it is only about a mile from the harbor. Now the second thing that is very unusual about this meeting is an artist, a very good artist, has done a 360-degree mural in the room. I mean outstanding painting. The 12 steps and the 12 traditions with a desert background. Beautiful. There is a beautiful painting of Bill W. and Dr. Bob sitting at a table in Akron, Ohio, where Alcoholics Anonymous first started. This is a must-visit place. Next, let's talk about Iceland. It is on the third stop or port in Iceland. Do not ask me the name of the city as I could not spell it anyway. So we get off the ship. We're walking into town when we walk by a tourist information office. Now, it is physically impossible for me to walk past a tourist information because when traveling in early sobriety, I used to find most of my meetings by going into a tourist information office. So we go inside and I ask the young lady behind the counter, do you know of any AA meetings in town? She never says a word. She walks around the counter, she grabs me by the arm, we go outside, and she points right directly across the street at a Quonset hut. See how hard it was to find that meeting? Now this was a unique meeting in that we met 5 or 6 people outside and they were waiting for the meeting to start and they were all speaking English. When the room opened up and you had to take your shoes off, that's unique. The meeting had a hardwood floor that was shiny and without marks on it. It had beautiful love seats for 2 throughout the room, all in beautiful condition. A beautiful inside. Now when the meeting started and there was a 10-minute speaker, the meeting switched from English to Icelandic. Now that was fun because we knew exactly what the guest speaker was saying without understanding a single word. She was sharing how it was, what happened, and how it is today. Just by watching her face and her hands, you knew what was being said. I got photos of the Serenity Prayer and the 12 steps in Icelandic. Fun. How about Istanbul, Turkey? Now there are 2 things about Istanbul, Turkey. That is, the city is divided by water right in the middle of the city. And on one side of the water is Asia and the other side is Europe. Well, I went on the internet and got email addresses before we even left to find a meeting in Istanbul, Turkey. I found a lady that was teaching English and a member of AA. So upon arrival, I knew where and what time the meeting was. Now, what was a great experience, we took a ferry boat ride from the European side over to the Asian side, and there was a guy at the end of the gangplank holding up a sign like in an airport with the name Hail on it. He was waiting for us. Nice experience. Took us to an AA meeting on the Asian side of Istanbul, Turkey. Now for stories about finding an AA meetings while on travel in the U.S. First, over the years with new technology, there are devices on cell phones called Meeting Guide. Tells you where the AA meetings are within 35 miles of your location. Now, one of the funniest was that Barbara and I walked out of a motel room, plugged in our phone to find the nearest AA meeting from our location. It came back with 97 feet. It was directly across the street from us. Couldn't believe it. Back in the old days, in early RVN, we had a little 25-foot travel trailer. I carried a small 49.5cc motor scooter on it that would only go 35 miles an hour on a good day. Now, this is before cell phones, and I could not find a telephone book in the RV park looking for Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a ranger station nearby. We were in Flaming Gorge, Utah, about 4 miles away, so I ride on my little motor scooter over to use the phone book. I asked the ranger for a phone book, and he asked me what I was looking for. So I told him I was looking for an AA meeting. He said, and I quote, "Great, be back here at 6 p.m. and I will take you." He was a member of AA. See how hard I looked for that meeting? One of the last stories, and I will quit. In the RV driving into Lusk, Wyoming, we used the cell phone to find an AA meeting. We found absolutely no listing at all on the meeting guide. And then we found out that Lusk, Wyoming was not listed, and Wyoming was not participating in the meeting guide. Think that slowed me down? Not a bit. I had my wife call the local police station in Lusk, Wyoming. Now they, the police, are not about to give out phone numbers without permission, so they said they would call us back. They called back with 3 phone numbers from members of AA. We discovered that there was no AA meetings that night. We were only going to be there overnight. Now remember, in the big book, there is a line that says going to any length. So we get set up with the RV in the RV park, and we called the 3 members of AA to come down to the RV. I would heat up a pot of coffee and we would have a meeting. There were 5 of us sitting around in a small RV, it's only 25 foot long, and had a meeting. What fun! I will close with this. My first marriage lasted 51 years, and God took her home on the day that I celebrated 32 years of sobriety. After about 2 years of mourning period, I met a lady in a local meeting that I normally never go to. I like evening meetings. I met the lady who had lost her husband. I took her to bereavement class. To make this short, we have now been married 3 years and a few days. Both of us in our 80s, and she also is coming up on 40 years of sobriety. I have 70 days more than her, but who's counting? None of the above would never happen if there was not a God in our lives. Chuck.